Nate is congested enough with students. It's twice the size of my hometown, but the ETS buses add to that congestion with their garage access along one of the major routes to parking at Nate. I've seen many close calls with buses attempting to turn onto 118th Avenue from their driveway, for lack of a better term. They do have another way to 106th Street, and I have overheard complaints from frustrated drivers in the form of horns as buses cut them off. It seems like, ratio-wise, it is like a Los Angeles-style traffic jam every day, morning, afternoon. Is there any way the city could address congestion problems at Nate?
Well, that's the first I've heard of that particular issue, so it's something we probably need to look at, and I'm hoping that when the LRT opens there, that'll also address some of the traffic congestion, and perhaps more folks will take the LRT.
Yeah, I was going to mention the LRT may alleviate some of that, but that's also when, if Jerry has any ideas, you can follow up on that.
Well, and that's actually a really good segue to have one that we're not aware of. What do you suggest? Where do they, if you have an issue, and this is great, thank you for coming and bringing it here and starting the conversation, and again, it's recorded and all the rest, but for people, just to get the message out there, if they have an area of concern, what's the best way to get that on the radar?
Well, they can, typically what we tell people to do is call 311, and so I'll tell you to call 311, but I'll also tell you to call me or email or call Bev. And usually,
if it's a hard question, send it today.
No, it's a hard question. I send it to Jerry. That's what I was just going to say. So usually,
so just email Jerry.
Typically, what we do, because we're not experts in any of this stuff, we have an administration, and we forward things to our administration, and they follow up with us, and we communicate directly back to the citizens. So that's usually how we do things.
But thank you very much for that question.
And just on that, and I think it was inevitably going to come up at some point, the public transportation, and particularly with the LRT, and that's been in the news a lot today, and we probably don't have to get there, but we know the direction that we're heading as a city to try to expand that to different areas of the city and try to increase and encourage ridership in the lines that we already have there. Certainly there are a lot of impacts. One of them is lessening traffic congestion, and for the people that might watch or might listen and say, well, I don't ride the LRT. Well, if you drive and more people ride the LRT, it's good news for you too.
Right. And not to get too political about tonight's program, but it's not hard. As politicians, we're political all the time, but LRT will alleviate some traffic congestion, we believe, but it's not, again, that's not going to be the fix to everything either. And judging from how far away we are to getting LRT to every parts of the city, we have to work on other strategies. So.
And it's not going to address the shortcutting through neighborhoods or the speeding through neighborhoods or the issues around schools. Those are still things that we need to have concrete work to move forward on.
And that really is another example of the fact that it's not Dave's problem, and it's not Bev's problem, and it's not Jerry's problem. It's everybody's problem. Right. And that's if it's your neighbor, if it's the person, if it's your kid's classmate, everybody has a hand in solving that, of course, and that's what we're helping to promote tonight.